Hey guys, it's Teacher Raph. Welcome back to my channel. It's Twilight Zone episode 45, special edition, Newsweek. Published a cool article back in 2017. I'm sure you've read it. July 31st, 2017 by Chris Ryota. Did an author from the 1800s predict the Trumps, Russia, and America's downfall? Kind of good, kind of bad, kind of scary. Let's see what they say. Ingersoll Lockwood, an American political writer, lawyer, novelist, combined a unique mixture of science fiction and fantasy into his novels from the late 1800s. Two of his most popular works of literature were illustrated children's stories focusing on a peculiar fictional character whose name rings a bell in 2017, Baron Trump. Trump, an aristocratically wealthy young man living in Castle Trump, is the protagonist of Lockwood's first two fictional novels. The travels and adventures of little Baron Trump and his wonderful dog Bulgar, and Baron Trump's marvelous underground journey. The little boy, who has an unending imagination and a very active brain, is bored of the luxurious lifestyle he has grown so accustomed to. In a twist of fate, Trump visits Russia to embark on an extraordinary adventure that will shape the rest of his life. Lockwood's final novel arrived in 1896, titled The Last President. Let's read this tweet. So the internet is going crazy about this book with Baron Trump in the title from 1893 with its sequel, The Last President. Oh, look at that. Alrighty. There are some incredible connections to be made to the first family of the United States in Lockwood's novels from the turn of the 19th century. For starters, the main character's name is the same as President Donald Trump's son, albeit spelled differently. Trump's adventures begin in Russia and are guided thanks to directions provided by the master of all masters, a man named Don. Before leaving for his voyage through the unknown, Trump is told of his family's motto: "The pathway to glory is strewn with pitfalls and dangers." Illustrations from the novels depict Trump dressed in lavish old-fashioned clothing, jewelry, as he departs from Castle Trump and begins his voyage, heading to Russia to locate an entrance to alternate dimensions. But by Lockwood's third novel, The Last President, things become even more eerily linked to the present day. The story begins with a scene from a panicked New York City in early November, describing a state of uproar after the election of an enormously opposed outsider candidate. The entire East Side is in a state of uproar. Police officers shouted through the streets, warning city folk to stay indoors for the night. Mobs of vast size are organizing under the lead of anarchists and socialists and threaten to plunder and despoil the houses of the rich who have wronged and oppressed them for so many years. The Fifth Avenue Hotel will be the first to feel the fury of the mob, the novel continues, citing an address in New York City where Trump Tower now stands. Would the troops be in time to save it? Lockwood's creations have resurfaced online in recent weeks on forums and Reddit, thanks to a number of 4chan users who shared images and conspiracy theories about the fantasy stories. Some claim the Trump family possesses a time machine that has allowed them to remain powerful to this day. The Last President doesn't follow the same fictional narrative of Lockwood's previous novels. Though the links to Trump are once again abundantly clear, the president's hometown of New York City is fearing the collapse of the Republic in this book, also titled 1900, immediately following the transition of presidential power. Some Americans begin forming a resistance, protesting what was seen as a corrupt and unethical election process. Here's the trailer. Okay, on YouTube you can go check it out if you look up this article online. A filmmaker and Trump supporter named Lee Scott is now trying to crowdsource funding to create a fantasy feature film, saying he's a huge fan of trolling. Quote, "Even though I work in Hollywood, I actually support President Trump, quote, Scott says in a promotional video for his project. The book has tons of strange references to the modern day, but we can actually amp that up a bit and put in things that only we as Trump supporters and people who are on the internet all the time really understand and appreciate. End quote. Well, there you have it. There might be a movie coming out, who knows? There's some strange parallels. The last president, Barron Trump? You never know. Well, thanks so much for listening, and hit like, hit subscribe.